Okay, let's we've hit 20 and we are also at 410. So we can commence right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome everyone to the International Halal Industry webinar today, the 20th of August 2020. Is a history making event today. Uh, a lot of people have heard about halal industry, but don't understand how it works. So this is a great opportunity for people to get to know and understand what the halal industry is and how everyone can benefit from the halal industry and all that it has to offer. My name is Mike Okwoche, and I'm a senior anchor with TVC in Lagos. So I'll be moderating the event from here, and we welcome all our guests from different parts of the world. We're expecting people from close to about 20 countries, almost 20 countries. Let me welcome those who are in Nigeria right now, from Abuja and Lagos and parts of the country. Let me welcome all of you. We welcome those joining us from India and joining us from Turkey, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Tunisia, Pakistan, Singapore, Egypt, Morocco, Indonesia, Spain, UK, Azerbaijan, Lebanon, Oman, Philippines, and the list is going on and on. These are places we expect our guests to join us from. Some are in there already. All right. The halal industry is in the European halal industry from the records we have. It is growing at a rate of between 10 to 20% annually. It tells that it's really promising and is really very huge. And it covers items like food, beverages, catering services, medicine, clothing, and all of that. For those who are joining who may not necessarily have an idea of what it is, especially those joining in from or joining in on YouTube who want to know what halal is all about. Halal is an Arabic word. Certainly, those who are scholars will even make us understand them more. But just for our quick understanding, halal is just about being permissible. What is permissible in 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 uh, in Arabic, and that's what we're talking about today. So, in Nigeria, Nigeria is a great market, and we look forward to benefiting a great deal from what halal has to offer. So, I will give the ground now to the president of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry to give the keynote address at this time. Now, it is my pleasure to hand over to the president, Prince Adetokunbo Kayode, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and Commander of the Order of the Niger. Mr. President, sir.
Uh,
Let's have your mic mute. Let's unmute your mic. You can unmute your mic so we can hear you,
right.
sir. Mr. President. Yes.
You can hear me now.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. It's great to welcome all of us to this first ever international halal seminar holding online in Nigeria. We, in the past 2 years, have been engaged with colleagues, the industry, all over the world, all the countries, the events we have mentioned from India to Malaysia to Turkey, South Africa, Saudi, everywhere, to form strong partnership to enable all of us to get together into the halal industry, the world's global halal industry, which is worth at least trillion as scale. The if manager tried to halal, he has tried. But I can assure you, among the panelists discussants today, there are experts who have knowledge, that people who have knowledge and give knowledge about what halal and halal industry means and relate to. And so we looking for next 1.5 hours or so very erudite exposition of how trade, halal industry, halal standard, and halal business, which range from the basic food clothing, but also tends to pharmaceuticals, health, tends to from business to banking, to every aspect of life. And halal, what is good, what is permitted, it affects of us. It's not essential, it's not principle in Islamic. And in this, Nigeria being one of the largest Muslim countries in the world, which almost was roughly about 1 million. I think we're about 3 million about. So we are in the key position to participate and partake in the halal business. And this is one of the key reasons why the Abuja Chamber of Commerce has taken up this time, why I personally put my weight behind it to ensure that we become of the global halal enterprise, as I said. Now, you will hear in the course of time statistics that will be maybe mind-boggling, because they're so humongous, they're so huge. And you'll be shocked that we are about to go strictly to this business. It's part of our position and part of our spread. Is the fact that all countries surround us are also essentially part of the part of our business. And will key in this. And we are just in a position to play a key role in bringing West Africa, even South Africa, to the business. If we move on forward. Unfortunately, because of the week, we had to postpone till next year our first ever halal fair, which is planned for later in the year. But we are sure with the opportunity this will give us, and also the fact we are already developing a digital trade fair platform. We're certain that soon we'll be able to start our fair at least online before the COVID enables us to do the real halal, to do the institute, the one that was meet together, exchange ideas, do business together, make friends, one-on-one, B2B, and also BT, so that the way our people really do and it's allowed to. As I said, you hear statistics in a lot of years, but at the end of the day, the purpose of this is to give a greater exposition to the business of halal, to let both Nigerians and our partners in the world know that Nigeria is ready to come into the halal business with almost 200 million population and at least 100 million Muslims. We are in a position to provide markets to market for sourcing raw materials from Nigeria for halal products, and also importation of halal products from our friends who are involved in our business. So it's a win situation for us. We can provide what you need, you also can provide what we need. And all of it within the framework of halal. And I think it's a thing for us that Allah has given us a chance to be here to be part in this. On that note, I will thank you for being here, but I'm sure justice done to the topic. Thank you, and may Allah bless all of us.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. President. We really appreciate everything you have said. Although we had distortions from your audio, parts of what you said, but then we got the kernel and the message of what you have said, and we really appreciate you, Mr. President. Thank you so much. More persons are coming in, and remember that we are live on YouTube as well. Now, the ground rule is that you keep your mics muted if you're not if you don't have the floor, so that we have less interference. Generally, there'll be time for question and answer at the end of the seminar. So if you have a question, if you have any comments that you need to be addressed, you can also type it in the chat box. We'll pick it up and then roll with it. Those who let us know your name and then who you are addressing the question to, and then it can be addressed appropriately. More persons are coming in, and we really appreciate you. All right, it's time for the president of Nasima, and it's time for the president of Nasima and Fawesi, Ajia Saratu Iya Aliyu, to give us the first goodwill message. Ajia, the ground is yours now.
Thank you very much, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I feel highly honored to be invited to deliver a keynote or goodwill message on this auspicious occasion of the International Halal webinar organized by Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I congratulate the Chamber for this trailblazer for an undertaking of such much needed business initiative of economy, which globally is estimated to be $2.1 trillion. Your choice of the theme for the conference, Undertaking Halal Market and Economy, is apt and relevant, and Nasima is proud to be identified with this rare initiative because of its belief that a vibrant measure to key into the Islamic economic system is relevant to actualizing the set goals of the diversification policy of the current administration. What are the potentials for the halal industry to succeed in Nigeria? First, a vibrant, widespread Islamic banking system. According to a 2019 report from the World Fact Book, the Muslim population in Nigeria is about 51.1 or 0.6%, which is over 100 million citizens, and 70% of this population remains unbanked. This serves as a huge potential for Islamic banking penetration. Furthermore, as Islamic banking institutions become more Sharia compliant, the industry will benefit from strong patronage and thus profitability. The Central Bank of Nigeria, being a member of the Islamic Finance Service Board, IFSB, is key into accessing Islamic development funds to finance infrastructure projects which will bring about more rapid economic development. An example of this is the CBN Sukuk Islamic bond funds. Furthermore, with the establishment of the Jaiz Bank, the CBN created a non-interest financial institution unit, which led to more employment opportunities, training and retraining of manpower in this era of Islamic finance have been developed, which makes it possible for more Islamic products to be rolled out, such as mudharaba, profit sharing, musharakat, joint venture, murabaha, cost plus finance, and ijara, that is leasing. Takaful Islamic insurance is another untapped area which has not gained a foothold into the country. Secondly, a properly functioning halal certification body is critical for the country to be able to access markets across the world and also sanitize the local food industry. The lack of labeling in almost all restaurants is something greatly overlooked in terms of the local abattoirs. Certification is completely non-existent, making them devoid of international best practices for halal foods. Having a fully certified body backed by the relevant bodies such as the Ministry of Health and NAFDAC, and most importantly, the law, will provide safer and healthier products for the trending or the teeming population. Thirdly, it is worthy to note that the CBN in late July this year introduced 11 intervention schemes designed to increasing access to finance for non-interest financial institutions. These schemes include guidelines for the operation of the agribusiness, small and medium enterprise in investment schemes for non-interest financial institutions, and non-interest guidelines for non-oil export stimulation facilities. These programs may provide much needed financing to promote the halal industry. The following factors have been identified as constraints to the growth of the sector. These including inadequate awareness about Islamic banking, that is non-interest banking system, problems of double taxation, inadequate human resources, the problem of Islamophobia, and ethno-religious factors. Of all the constraints hampering effective utilization and participation in Islamic banking in Nigeria, ethno-religious factors is perhaps the most serious factor, as some studies indicated. It will take our collective efforts to work out a plan on how to drastically reduce or permanently eliminate these challenges militating against the general acceptance of the halal industry. I urge you all to examine the issues to be discussed objectively in the best interest of the economy. I am confident that solutions reached would go a long way to bridge the gaps created by factors such as ethno-religious, Islamophobia, and a host of others hampering the general acceptance of halal industry in Nigeria. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam President. We really, really appreciate you. And we thank you so much for the message, the strong message you have delivered, and the goodwill message. I am very confident that the challenges you have enumerated there, this is going to create a lot of awareness, especially because when we have a great level of awareness, it reduces some of the challenges that we have as a people. Thank you so much, Ajia Ali, for your time on what you have, the message you've given to us. Now, let's move on faster so that we can cover some grounds. Now, the next personality that will be talking will be focusing on Nigeria financial regulations, the opportunities, potentials for prospective investors in the Nigeria halal industry. And it is my honor and privilege to give the ground now to His Eminence Sheikh Sharif Ibrahim Saleh, Commander of the Order of the Niger, the Chairman of Fatwa, the Fatwa Committee of the National Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, and the Grand Mufti of Nigeria, and the Chairman of Phrase CBN. Your Eminence, I welcome you to the webinar, and I give the ground to you now.
Okay. Mr. Mike, we are sorry. Can you just give us a few minutes? The Eminence will connect.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah. It's just that we have some technical issues, and it will be solved just now. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir.
All right. So we'll keep a tab to know when His Eminence can join. So let's move on ahead now. We will, if you have your program, it is time to let's now talk about why Nigeria needs a halal economy. While we wait for His Eminence and we go back there when he's ready, let's move on now to the next item, and we'll be talking about why Nigeria needs a halal industry. And you'll be taken by Professor Rafik Saleh of Malaysian Halal Consultancy and Training Agency. Now, the point there is, on one hand, Malaysia is seen as the halal hub of the world, and having someone from there to talk to us, it's a great, it's really nice. So, Professor Rafik Saleh, it's all yours now. Professor Saleh.
Incoming. All right. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for, especially to the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry for organizing this program, the International Halal Industry Webinar 2020. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Sorry, Professor Rafik. Before you go ahead, Mohammed, can you keep your mic on? Can you keep your mic muted? Can we mute the mic of His Eminence? Mohammed, can we mute the mic of His Eminence? Mohammed, can we mute the mic of His Eminence so that we can have him when he's ready? Professor Rafik, you can go ahead now.
Yeah. All right. Because I only have 10 minutes. Normally I talk 2 hours. The most with Q&A and so on, we'll cover 3 hours talking about this big topic, you know, Islamic economy, halal economy. Well, it's all right. I simplify. I just send this paper to Haja Moji. Okay, never mind. Let me simplify it. Okay. As we know, I heard earlier also, Nigeria is, with a population of plus minus 200 millions, and majority are Muslim, more than 50%. We noticed that you have a lot of potential, to get involved in this halal. Like Malaysia, we did. We are 60+% majority Muslim in our country, and we cover all sectors when you talk about halal. So the topic you gave me, why Nigeria needs a halal economy, same, not only Nigeria. 57 of OIC members or Muslim country also need that. It is a very big market, more than $3 trillion US, and which cover all kinds of sectors from food and beverage, hospitality service, Muslim-friendly hospitality service, logistic, banking, finance, and so on and so forth, pharmaceutical, I can name it. More than 10 sectors. All right. Nigeria is, I did some research, some homework, and we noticed that Nigeria is a country, is a rich country. I can use this word. But unfortunately, there are, the population, majority are in poverty. Nigeria is, according to the World Bank, I saw this as mentioned by the Nigeria country, had one of the world highest economic growth rates, average between 7.4%. Wow. According to the Nigeria Economic Report released in July last year, 2019, by the World Bank. This is something, even we in Malaysia also very shocked, to see how Nigeria can, have their economic growth that much. But as we know, we mentioned here, and I citing also from the central bank governor, Mr. Lamido Sanusi, where he observed that Nigeria macroeconomic policies have encouraged import consumption rather than local production. They give, more focus on import items. So other people are making the business, okay. So now, this need to, to address increasing poverty. So Nigeria needs growth inclusive model that will emphasize domestic, domestic production of goods and service and so on. to consume, and that will reduce unemployment. We have many Nigerians in Malaysia also. Either they are as a students or doing some work here. Yeah, there are goods and bad. We can understand anywhere country we do have that. So the question now, what is halal business or economy? We're talking about halal business economy. So as you mentioned earlier, halal is an Arabic word meaning, we know about it. Something lawful, ethical, and so on, permitted, and allowed according to the Sharia law, and can refer to both goods and services acceptable to Muslim and general public. So halal not only in food, there are, I mentioned, it covers a lot of sectors. All right. Now, it can encompass, as I mentioned earlier, food, beverage, catering service, especially I'm in Malaysia, we do have a, focus on more on in-flight catering worldwide. We give service, consultation, training, and so on. For airlines, you have thousands of airlines, and 57 nation airlines belong to Muslim country. So these are very important, including, cosmetic. Haja, my good friend, Haja Moji, will be talking about cosmetic or personal care, and so on. All right, Nigeria also can tap in tourism. I know you have a lot of nice places in terms of tourists or sites, I think historical places, beautiful places. Now, so it can encompass on all these things, including logistics. Right. So why halal? Why Nigeria needs halal economy? I simplify. Actually, in my talk, I simplify it in the points. I gave here 12 points. Why you need halal? Not only Nigeria, I'm telling, if I talk in China, I say the same thing. Why China need halal? In Philippines, I use this paper to the government, DOS, Department of Science and Technology, who invite me. So I stress on this. Why halal? Yeah, Nigeria is a majority Muslim country, of course, because of religion or divine command. Whatever we do, goods or things which are permissible in line with the Sharia compliant, yeah, it's a divine command. And why halal? Because company requirement or policy. And of course, country, Malaysia, yeah, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and so on, you name it, Indonesia. Yeah, there are regulatory requirements. If you declare halal, you need to comply with halal and need to be certified. Yeah, why halal? Because of country policy or regulatory requirement. And of course, customer requirement, customer demand. And of course, talking about halal, it related to safety, halal and tayyiban, safety, quality, and hygiene, which indicate the products not only Muslim friendly and suitable or for Muslim consumption, and also fulfilling halal requirement on strict hygiene and safety. And what else? Why halal? Because you give confidence. Litatma'inna qalbi, for a Muslim, you give, peace of mind. This is very important. And also it's international acceptance, a symbol of assurance. Halal is something, value added. Because I travel around the world, 100 over countries. We have done this program, halal program. We conduct training, awareness program, and we can see that the non-Muslim now getting to understand what is halal about. Not, yeah, of course, halal. When you talk about food, the meat must be halal slaughtered, but it's more than that. We stress on halal and tayyiban, the safety, quality, hygiene, wholesome, nutritious. You name it. You tell to the non-Muslim, this is what they will agree. They will not, go against you. So talking about international acceptance, yeah, we give confidence or assurance to Muslim consumer and general public. Expand product within halal and non-halal certified product. The halal product, yeah, have some added value. And let me tell you, in Malaysia, we do engage with the global halal requirement or request. I like to stress through my experience to my engagement with the customer. Let me repeat, not 3/4, not 75%, more than 80% which involved in halal, who required halal, who request halal certification, who want halal training, are non-Muslim, from non-Muslim companies or countries. Yes, I dare to say that, not 3/4 or 70%, I say more than 80%. From our experience, engagement with, let's say 100 people apply worldwide, 80 plus are non-Muslim. Halal, apply, request for consultation or training or certification. This is what we need to look into. And then, of course, halal now becomes a market demand. As we know, COVID-19, people talk about safety. Yeah, they give about health, healthy product. So halal is there. Halal cover all that areas. And we can assure the non-Muslim, even though it's a COVID-19 pandemic at this moment, we still receive requests, yes, from China, from Europe. Yeah, today I communicate with Korea and Japan, who still require halal certification. Yeah, I almost finished. So now, in general, of course, the bottom line for non-Muslim, why they want halal? Because dollar and cent, yeah, generate revenue because of business. Fine with that. We Muslim can get the benefit. All right, now, knowing that, of course, I have my papers with you, or the product and the premises are certified halal, will give you some peaceful of mind, you know, confidence and so on. Now, be careful. Even in Nigeria, you need a halal economy, but better make sure we need to give a full commitment, serious commitment. If not, this is the last part I would like to mention. Contrary, the possible consequence, if not, if we do not take care of halal, if not rectify, it may tarnish the organization, including Malaysia. We have to be careful. We have to be strict. We have to take care of our good name, our religion's name, and the halal itself. So, country, organization, reputation, and tremendously affecting the halal product and services. So, nationwide, or worldwide. So, why it happened? Because upon close analysis, yeah, we noticed that the likely cause of this occurring unpleasant event are lack of insufficient competent authority. So, we, Malaysia, are helping Nigeria team. You can ask Hajjah Moji. They came to Malaysia to learn more about halal. And of course, for industry, absent or defective internal control, monitoring, auditing. And of course, for authority, of course, you implement halal, but you cannot implement effectively for halal certification and monitoring because lack of expertise. So these are the key points. I finished already actually. You know, exactly as you request. These are we have to look into in this conference. You can talk all kinds of subjects. We have to look into this. Thank you very much. Ma'assalam. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much, Professor Saleh. You said it earlier. You should be given some more time, sometime.
Yes,
to talk about this.
I will.
I have
to rush. All right.
As we start right now by laying the foundation, there'll be time for these kind of conferences to go on and on and on again, so that more time will be created. Thank you so much, Professor Rafiq Saleh of Malaysian Halal Consultant and Training Agency. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's go back to having His Eminence on right now. The technical issue has been fixed. His Eminence Sheikh Sharif Ibrahim Saleh, CON, is the chairman of Fatwa Committee of the Nigeria Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs and Grand Mufti of Nigeria, the chairman of Phrase CBN. He will be talking about Nigeria financial regulations, the opportunities, potentials for prospective investors in the Nigerian halal industry. Your Eminence, we are glad to have you on right now. The floor is yours. Your Eminence, sir. All right, Mohammed, you were helping us to fix all the technicalities earlier on. Is he okay? Mohammed? Okay. All right. Let's go on as we expect to have His Eminence back on. Okay. They'll let us know when they're ready. Now, the next discussion now will be on the free zones, special economic zones that we have in Nigeria. Mohammed, are you on now?
Yes, Mr. Mike.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
this is one. Yes.
Great. Let's give the ground now to His Eminence to speak. It's all his now.
ما في شيء الولاد لكن ضعيف ما قاعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف خلق الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعه ووالاه. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. The chairman of the occasion and all members of the great meeting, please permit me to stand on the existing protocols and say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Meaning the peace and blessing we do. Dear respected participants, without taking much of your time, please permit me to go straight to the point. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in the Holy Quran saying, يا أيها الناس كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين. O mankind, eat of that which is lawful and good طيب on the earth, and follow not the footsteps of Satan or Shaitan. Verily, he is to you an open enemy. Al-Baqarah 161. From this verse, it is understood that Islam sets two essential criteria for food consumption, namely halal, permissible by Sharia, and tayyib, of good quality. Also, in the authentic hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, narrated by Abu Abdullah al-Nu'man bin Bashir radiyallahu anhu said, سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن الحلال بين والحرام بين إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمور مشتبهات لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبرأ لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام كالراعي يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يرتع فيه ألا وإن لكل ملك حمى ألا وإن حمى الله محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. رواه البخاري ومسلم وأبو داود والترمذي والنسائي وابن ماجه. Narrated, the meaning, narrated by An-Nu'man bin Bashir, Allah's blessing upon him. I heard Allah's apostle saying, both legal and illegal things are evident, but in between there are doubtful, suspicious things, and most of the people have no knowledge about them. So whoever saves himself from these suspicious things, says his religion and his honor. And whoever indulges in these suspicious things is like a shepherd who grazes his animals near the hima, private pasture of someone else, and it may moment he is any moment he is liable to get in it. O people, be aware, every king has a hima, and the hima of Allah Ta'ala on the earth is illegal, forbidden things. Beware, there is a piece of flesh in the body. If it become good, reformed, that whole body becomes good. But if it gets spoiled, the whole body gets spoiled, and that is the heart. Related by Al-Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Al-Tirmidhi, Al-Nasai, and Ibn Majah. With these two primary sources of Sharia, I would like to stop here and submit to you my written address online for further reference. I wish you fruitful deliberations. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much, Your Eminence. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We really appreciate His Eminence for that fatherly presentation there. And it's a great charge to all of us on what we're trying to do today. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you out of your very tight schedules. All right, let's move on now so we can cover more grounds. The ground rules still remain. If you don't have the floor, can we have your mic muted so that we don't have much interference? Right, we're moving on now. On the next, okay, thank you. The next topic now will be on free zones, special economic zones. That is what our attention will be on now, and certainly the MD of Nigeria Export Processing Zone Authority, NEPSA, will be taking this next session now. It is my pleasure to welcome Professor Adesoji Adeshuba to hold the floor right now. It's all yours, Professor. Are you there, Professor Adeshuba? Are you there? You have to unmute your mic so we can hear you. Okay, we haven't heard from him yet. Professor Adesoji Adeshuba, are you there? Okay, let's move on while we wait for him to put things together. Now, the next is a goodwill message from the second deputy from Nasima, Barrister Dele Oye. Dele Oye, it's nice to have you on now. Barrister Dele Oye. Dele Oye, is he here? Okay. All right. We also put him on hold while we move ahead so we can cover ground. We don't. Okay. Let's move to the next topic, which covers strategic relations between Turkey and Nigeria in the development of the Nigerian halal economy. His Excellency Ambassador Ahmed Meli Ulueren, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of Turkey. You have the floor right now, Your Excellency. Okay, I understand Professor Adeshuba is around now. the managing director of Nigeria Export Processing Zone. So let's go back to him before we move ahead. Professor Adesugba, the floor is yours now.
Well, thank you very much. My apologies. I had to leave a meeting for this very, very important seminar on halal. Well, for us in Nigeria, Nigeria is here to explore the potential of the halal market. Though it has started taking some steps, thanks to the Abuja Chamber of Commerce that's done a lot in terms of initiatives in the near past. Country has registered to, even though this country has registered to Islamic banks and used Sukuk to finance its infrastructural deficiency. Currently, Halal Certification Authority is the only company issuing certification for companies willing to get certified, and I've certified more than 20 companies as of now from what I've gathered. I'm still trying to get across to Prince Coyote because this was news to me when I was doing some research, and I wanted to actually speak with him, which I'll do later on in these terms of certification, because I recall that in the past 1 or so years, we had spoken with him on this issue of the need for us to have a certificating authority in Nigeria. The question is there one at the moment? So though though there have been different proposals for halal regulation, but I'm not sure whether it has yielded any results. So I would really like to confirm this. Most of the nations consume meat products are from the northern Nigeria, which are predominantly Muslims, and as such, the food products from Nigeria are in most cases, in a very informal way, halal compliant. But in setting up industries as far as halal is concerned, it's very important for us to note that Nigeria is the 5th largest Muslim populated country in the world. There's more than 100 million such Muslims. Our brothers, there's hardly any family in the southwest of Nigeria that does not have a Muslim. In fact, all families, to my mind, have Muslims shared between Islam and Christianity. And this gives us the base for us to be able to introduce halal manufactured goods in Nigeria. So this country shares borders, of course, with 4 other countries: Niger, predominantly Muslim; Chad, predominantly Muslim; Cameroon, and Benin, which also have equal shares of Muslims respectively. So you see, when you're talking about Nigeria, you will be talking about a very, very broad market for halal products. And indeed, we have to understand the fact that Nigeria, out of every 5 African, at least 1 is a Nigerian, which means that the population in Nigeria is very, very high. And in terms of population growth, I always tell people that every year you have a new country being born in Nigeria. There are about 5 million people being born in Nigeria with about 2.3% population growth rate. So Nigeria is increasingly growing, and the Muslim population is increasingly growing. This is, to me, apart from the fact that when you are talking halal, you are talking of quality. The standards of halal products anywhere in the world, we realize, have been one of good quality. For me, working at the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority is actually an opportunity for those people who are thinking of coming to Nigeria, or even indeed local companies that are interested in investing in the free zones for export purposes, taking advantage of the impending African Free Trade Zones, Continental Free Trade Agreement, which will soon start. I have been advising investors to take advantage of setting up their companies in the export free zones. We have generous incentives. Of course, as it is stated, the zone is going to be tax-free for you. Duty on imported goods for raw materials and for component parts are also free in the export free zone. Also, definitely there's security. There is also, for the 2 free zones that are manned by government, we also have adequate electricity. You also have an opportunity to, of course, to apply for your own free zone, which we call a private free zone. Currently, there are 42 free zones in Nigeria, and most of them functioning at optimal capacity, employing quite a number of Nigerians as well. So you are welcome to Nigeria to talk to us at the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Authority, which was established in 1992 with the mandate to administer free zones, the free zone scheme on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria. So please feel free to ask questions on how to do this. I'm sure that issues relating to the entry strategy for halal investors in Nigeria must also have been stated in this very, very important forum. Thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your wonderful presentation. And we know that with your office and your strategic position, you're going to give the halal industry a very good place and strategic prominence in the country. Thank you so much. Now, let's move on now. I understand that we don't have in the Turkish ambassador yet, but let's move on to the next item. Now we'll be looking at the Indo-Nigeria trade in the halal industry. That will be our next topic of discussion now. And His Excellency Ambassador Abe Thakur, the High Commissioner of India to Nigeria, concurrently accredited to Benin, Chad and ECOWAS, is presenting there, but he is represented by the Deputy High Commissioner, VSDL Surandra. It's nice to have you join us right now, Ambassador Surandra. It's all yours now.
Thank you, Mr. Mike. Honorable Prince Kayode, President Abuja Chamber, Ambassador Olukani, President of Nasima, Madam Haja Sarati of Fewaki, Professor Adesoji, MD of NEPSA, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Salam alaikum and very good evening to all of you. And thank you for inviting us to this very significant event. I just wanted to touch upon a few things. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Abuja Chamber for taking this initiative. And this is our second event, I think, in which we have joined up with them. Recently, we had a successful event with the Indian PhD Chamber of Commerce and Abuja Chamber. And well, I would like to just put across a few things which India can bring to the table as far as the halal sector is concerned, because the halal sector, offers huge opportunities, and we see that the Nigerian market is very big, and our Muslim brothers and sisters are numbering nearly 100 million, and their population is growing, and we see rising incomes, rising consumer demand. And it would be definitely in the interests of India to engage more vigorously with Nigeria in the halal sector. And we see that there is a lot of scope for India to start its investment in this sector, because right now there is substantial Indian investment in Nigeria. It is estimated that around 135 Indian companies have invested over 19.3 billion in Nigeria, and they are the second largest employers in Nigeria after the government of Nigeria. And this is a sector which is a sunrise sector offering new opportunities. And I'm sure with all the facilities and the incentives being offered by the MD of NEPSA and other authorities, there will be substantial interest from the Indian side. Talking about the Indo-Nigerian trade in the halal sector, well, you see, we are both large partners in trade. In fact, Nigeria is our largest trading partner in Africa, and India is the largest trading partner for Nigeria. And our bilateral trade is around $13 billion to $14 billion. And our trade has a component of Indian exports to Nigeria of about 3.6 billion, which has grown by 20% even during 1920, which had a part of the global pandemic, which still did not affect our trade. And India's major exports to Nigeria include machinery, pharmaceuticals, textiles, vehicles, so on and so forth. But we see that the halal sector is significantly underrepresented. We see that Nigeria imports around 328 million worth of bovine meat. I think HS code 0202. We were doing a bit of research, and we saw that there is scope for improvement because India's share in Nigeria's imports of this bovine meat is less than 1%, whereas India offers tremendous opportunity in this area because we are one of the largest exporters of bovine meat. Our exports of bovine meat is around 4 billion, and they're all certified, like the gentleman was saying before me. I mean, certification and halal certification, and with proper clear health clearances and everything. And I do not see reason why we are not able to increase our halal exports to Nigeria. And this is one area we can look at. And secondly, there is technology transfer which India can offer to Nigeria, because the food processing machinery and the logistics or the warehousing, wherever it is required in this chain, the halal chain, I'm sure Indian companies can bring something more to the table. And then one other area which I see, potential for India is the cosmetics industry, because India's cosmetics industry is estimated at around 35 billion, and we have our traditional cosmetics, is traditional shampoos, which are safe and which are free of side effects, hair oils and skincare products, and we have this Ayurveda traditional form of medicine, which offers many forms of beauty enhancement and beauty and health from the inside. So that is one area which we can look at. And then another area which we could see is, the halal medical tourism. Like since halal is a very broad concept, and like Mr. Mike was saying, anything permissible can be associated with halal. And Indian medical tourism to India is a big opportunity, because India offers excellent affordable medical care at nearly 20% or 25% of what the Western countries are offering. So the halal opportunity in medical tourism to India is we were calculating around a 220 million opportunity. And these are some of the areas which I thought would be relevant, to talk about what India can do in the halal sector as regards Nigeria. And I'm sure as we progress in these talks and as we get nearer the date of the Halal Expo, I mean, we'll have more ideas and thoughts coming, and we definitely look forward to increased bilateral cooperation with Nigeria, especially in the halal sector, and we wish the event all success. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Deputy High Commissioner of India in Nigeria. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Okay, so much to talk about. Let me also let you know that there's an e-certificate for participation in this international halal, and it will be made available if you want it. You can the link will be sent to your emails, and then you can follow through on how to get a copy of your certificate for participation. We have a great following on YouTube. It's really amazing. People are coming in, people are watching, and people are following. It's really interesting. And we thank all of you for being part of it. So let's move on now to the next topic, and to be on unlocking the global potential in the export of halal food. That will be the next discussion now. It is my a pleasure and honor to give the ground now to the Trade Commissioner, High Commission of Malaysia, and Trade Commissioner, Ambassador Mr. Mohammed Khairi Maideen. The floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum and greetings from the Malaysia Trade Office in Lagos. Salutation and high respect to the President of SCCI and the President of NASIMA, and the Excellency from the High Commission of India, And also greetings to the distinguished fellow speakers, moderators, and also fellow audience. So my name is Muhammad Khairi Maidin, and I'm the Trade Commissioner of Malaysia under the agency of the Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, which is MATRID Lagos. We are the equivalent to the NEPC, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, which is the TPOs. Okay, so the topic today is the unlocking potential of the export halal food. I'd like to add that it's a Malaysia experience. So I will talk on the surface. So I will share the we call it this presentation. Okay. All right. So sorry. So by the way, Mr. Dr. Rafiq Saleh, how are you? Then how's Tanah Air? Right. So the perspective of a global Islamic economy itself, because since we only have 10 minutes, I will glide through all these slides. So I just like to add, please bear with me because it has lots of numbers and figures here. So the world halal market growing is with vast opportunity for the benefit of not only the Muslim community, but also others who need to consume and use halal products and services. So for the by the DINA standard report saying that global Islamic economy in 2018 was worth 4.76 trillion and expected to grow $6.65 trillion in 2024. So one of also the contributing factor for growth in the huge size of Muslim population is based on the global Islamic economic indicator. It will grow from 1.8 billion it grew from 1.8 billion people in 2017 to 3 billion people in 2060. So, so based on this global Islamic economic key sector in halal food, you can see that the growing number of Muslim population worldwide and the rising number of demand by the Muslim of halal product facilitate the rapid progress of halal industry. So the consumer now is seeking and try to familiarize themselves with the halal product and services, which is include the food and beverage, ingredients, healthcare, product and services, personal care, tourism, and also financial services. So the slide reflect the key and huge potential for the halal food sector based on GIE indicator, where among focus subsector of the halal food can be zooming in halal ingredients, halal feed, halal food tech, halal products to the e-commerce. And because this, the halal itself can be expanded to other sectors, including e-commerce, which we can see the halal applications. So I can say that that Malaysia has been pioneer the development of Islamic finance also, and the halal food sector much earlier as compared to other countries. So we also have the Malaysia comprehensive. We have the comprehensive Islamic finance ecosystem, and also the first mover for the food sector and halal market lifestyle. The next step, okay. So we're talking now about what is the government initiative in developing the halal industry. So the halal industry in Malaysia is very comprehensive, where it involves from the top to the player. I think we can say that we are the only country in the world that boasts a comprehensive ecosystem from the halal industry development agenda. We have this called the Halal Industry Development Council, HIDC, and it is a national agenda itself. From this, for MATRID, for my agency, our role and function. We have 4 role and function. First, we develop strategies and implement halal industry program internationally. Everything that involves halal exploitation and promotion is fall under our responsibility. The second is to evaluate the effectiveness of organizing initiative in terms of export achievement. Third is to identify, coordinate, and monitor initiative implemented by ministry and agency. And then lastly, to identify the issue related to the halal market access. So this is the blueprint of Malaysia halal industry. It's quite comprehensive. So I will skip this one. So this is part of our master plan, which then the latest should be with the shared property vision in for 2030. This is the halal industry is our key economic growth activities. It's part of the priority in the key economic growth. Now I'm talking about now I will touch on the halal industry itself in Malaysia. So when we're talking about halal in Malaysia, is a ecosystem. All right, so it involves numerous government bodies. It will involve association chambers, and then down to the industry player and consumer. And we have this horizontal and vertical support given by the government in order to develop the halal industry itself. This, for example, like Matrade, we involve in branding, we involve in entrepreneurial development, we involve in international relationship and exportation, and also e-commerce. So we have like 6 key contributions of halal industry in Malaysia. The halal industry alone in Malaysia contribute approximately like 7.8% of our nation GDP. In 2019, we achieved sales of halal around 9.7 billion. And by 2020, this year is expected to reach to 12 billion, this is targeted by the halal industry master plan. And then we have the infrastructure that facilitate the Malaysian halal industry. Currently, we have 22 halal parks in Malaysia, value at 9 billion, and also we have 14 have the halal park status. This halal park promote the inception of like-minded community in the halal industry, who can develop their brands using infrastructure and services provided by them on the common property. Now, I'd like to touch on the landscape of halal industry. Here, I really agree. I'd like to echo what Dr. Rafiq Saleh mentioned just now. The players and the interest players in Malaysia, I can say the majority also belong to the non-Muslim. So right now we have about 8,302 halal certificate companies, which we divide into the 3,467, which is 41.8%, which is the Bumiputra side. Most of Bumiputra are Muslim. And then the balance comes 4,835, 58% is the others, which means that it involves foreigners and also non-Muslim. So we still separate into the level of company itself from MNCs. You can see that for the others, about 844 companies, multinational, involved in halal industry, up to the medium, small, micro, and specified. Specified here is the cottage industry. So for the halal export, overall from the 8,302 halal certified companies in Malaysia, 1,876 exporters, which is 22.6%, is the exporter of halal. However, it monopolized by the multinational company, which is large corporation. And due to that, Malaysian halal export increased by 2.9% to the 9.7 billion in dollar in 2019, and of course we targeted for 12 billion in 2020. Below is the sectors: the food, beverage, halal ingredient, palm oil derivative, cosmetic, industrial chemical, and so pharmaceutical. So now talking about the halal export promotion by Malaysia. So this this figure is captured based on the export export of halal certified products. They are currently about 22.6% or equivalent to just now I mentioned 1,876 halal certified exported in Malaysia, and more than 8,300 halal certified small and medium industry in Malaysia. So you can see that in halal is not limited only to F&B. It's also cover wide spectrum of sector. As halal is relevant to many activities within the supply chain. It involves a product and also involved in services. So okay, this is the pie chart. Sorry, this is the
2
pie
minutes more.
of.
2
Okay,
minutes
so
more.
thank you, sir. So I can see the food and beverage is dominating the percentage of the halal export from Malaysia. Now this is our export destination for halal product in 2019. You can see China, Singapore. Singapore is our traditional market. United States, Japan, Indonesia. And then now we're talking about why is it unique for the halal industry in Malaysia itself. So we have become the competitive edge in terms of halal certification. For Malaysia, halal is our brand. Malaysian halal is our brand. It is a promise. It cannot be compromised. So, and it's accepted by almost all halal market worldwide. We recognize about 84 certification bodies in 46 countries around the world for product imported into Malaysia. So the figure is expected to grow. And then we set to be the world halal hub market, and then not just in Asia but in globally. So for Matrix, we have this show called the Malaysia International Halal Showcase. We started in 2004. It started with MIHAS. Started in 2004, but in 2005, Matrix as a government, we took over and to leverage it into until 2019. For this year, it's supposed to be held in March 2020. Sorry, April 2020, but they postponed due to pandemic, and it will be held again in next year. So I will inform and I will spread the news to ACCI and all our colleagues and our partners. So yeah, so I believe that thank you so much for your time. Assalamualaikum.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really an explicit, detailed breakdown of how the halal business is going and the industry is going in Malaysia. And we really appreciate that we have so much to learn, especially when you talk about the halal master plan. The master plan is really an important thing. And I know that those who are responsible will be listening to this and, drafting and crafting how it can take roots and take foot in Nigeria. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you for that presentation. All right, let's move on now to the next discussion. Will be focusing on halal banking in Nigeria and its potentials. Halal banking in Nigeria and its potential. And it's my honor to give the time now to the Managing Director, CEO of Taj Bank, in the person of Nufadalizan Abdurrahman. Is he on, the MD of Taj Bank? Okay, you have to unmute your mic so that you can participate. Okay. All right. While we wait for him, be reminded that we are streaming live on YouTube and we have a great following on YouTube. People are tuning in and it's really amazing. And also don't forget, there's an e-certificate available if you want it. At the end of the seminar, it will be made available. The link will be sent to your email so you can have access to you follow the process on what it would take to have it and to be sent to you. All right. Do we have the MD the CEO Taj Bank on now? Okay, let's move on. Let's move on before we come back to him as he prepares to come on. Now, let's talk next about halal marketing and branding. What intending investors need to know. This topic is really strategic and as very, very important too. Halal marketing and branding. What intending investors need to know about all of those. Okay, now the person to take this is Sheikh Mohammed Nuruddin Lemu, an erudite scholar of international repute, member of the board of trustee of Hasdat, and director of research and training at the Dawa Institute of Nigeria. Sheikh, we give you the ground right now.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you all. Very briefly, looking at halal marketing and branding, what intending investors need to know. I'd like to start by standing on existing protocols with your permission due to time, but also to congratulate the organizers for this opportunity and service. Basically, when we talk about branding, we're talking about the reputation of a product or a service. Reputation of a person or a product affects the speed of acceptance. It affects their trust and the extent to which that business would be accepted. When we look at the halal markets, the global halal market is about the size of and gradually actually becoming bigger than China or India, no prejudice to any of them. But just to emphasize the size of this market, when we look at protecting a brand, it is important we recognize that just as a person's reputation is an asset, so is the halal brand a strategic asset itself. And it needs to be guarded, it needs to be protected by all concerned. In the religious parlance, it is described as a fardu kifaya, which simply means it's a collective responsibility to protect that brand. When we look at halal marketing and branding, it's of course something that requires all hands on deck. And so there's a lot that government needs to do if we look at a holistic approach towards branding and marketing, a lot when it comes to the issues to do with infrastructure, regulation, standards, in other words, producing an enabling environment. Governments and halal brands needs to be something where there is trust, that the government understands what's going on and is interested in enhancing and promoting the trustworthiness of the brand. That's the halal branding. Other things, of course, are important to the success of marketing and halal branding, from currency stability, restoring and protecting investor confidence in the Nigerian market, the international ratings we get, the attraction of global capital and what needs to be done, the growth of imports and how that is facilitated, improving inbound tourism, stronger international partnerships, building the talent pool, and SME capacity building. Because if we're looking at something that is new and something that we want to grow, the need to build the capacity for people to establish more small and medium enterprises, more microfinance facilities when we look at the bulge of the population at the bottom of the pyramid. With all the obstacles, and one could keep mentioning potential problems. However, we find bright spots. We find Islamic financial institutions that have succeeded in spite of all the challenges. And I think we're getting to that tipping point where awareness is growing. Something like this program, first of its kind on this scale, and bringing this level of awareness, I think shows the acceptance. There's still a lot to do. There's still potentials, there are opportunities, and all the challenges that come with emerging economies. I'd like to touch on a few points when it comes to these issues of what investors need to know. Firstly, when it comes to the awareness of halal branding in Nigeria, the awareness is very little. in theory, and as it's understood from the Islamic perspective, the general, when you say something is halal, there's a general maxim in Islamic jurisprudence, in Islamic finance, which is that everything is halal except what is haram. Everything is permissible, everything is Islamically permissible, except what is clearly prohibited, not the other way around. So the default assumption in Islam is that things are permissible by default, except if there's a clear reason to consider them prohibited. So when we say something is halal, it doesn't automatically mean that it is innovated by Muslims. One of the sources of Islamic jurisprudence is what is called urf, local custom. We have a lot of customary businesses that started and have been going on even before anybody brought the term halal into the industry. So most of what's going on, there's a lot of halal already on the ground. I think it's just the framing of the narrative around this that is sometimes the challenge. To also appreciate that halal is beyond just Muslim interests, to looking at issues to do with the purity of the product, concern for health, wellness, ethics, rights of animals, social welfare. And I think we see more in the statement made by the Malaysian gentleman of the halal and tayyiban, which is moving beyond just halal, meaning legally permissible, to halal and tayyiban, which is it's permissible and it's wholesome. In other words, it is a blessed form of halal in the eyes of God, that it's not just legally permissible, but ethically, morally, socially beneficial. And I think here again, we see the rise, even in Nigeria, of the organic agricultural industry, the concern for nature, of environment, of animal welfare, which I'll come back to soon. In other words, halal does not mean it is un-Christian. No, as we find blessings from the Pope on a lot of issues surrounding halal and Islamic finance, the main understanding for many is this is something that's an area of common ground that most religious people and most people who actually care about ethics, irrespective of their religious or non-religious affiliations, appreciate. Of course, in Nigeria, we have a challenge of Islamophobia, and some try to create conspiracy theories around halal brand, and that definitely needs to be managed. However, I think we can't exaggerate this too much, because if we look at the success of the sukuk in creating greater awareness, and I think the oversubscription of the last third sovereign sukuk by the federal government is testimony of the fact that the majority of Nigerians do not buy into the idea of Islamic finance and the halal branding as something that is unproductive or bridge burning when it comes to interfaith relations. In fact, as we have seen in other countries, there are some sectors of the halal industry that actually improve business relations between people of various faiths because of the benefits of this to communities. The other thing that I want to touch on is the question of accessibility of this brand. We have over 100+ million people interested. However, a lot are rural, a lot are in small communities. A lot of people don't speak English. And the size of the informal economy, I think, just tells us the size of the opportunity that especially microfinance areas have to play and can play in this this market. Regarding gaining acceptance of the halal brand, we have, of course, challenges on the side of Muslims and non-Muslims, but we can see, as I've already mentioned, acceptance of sukuk. I think sukuk has passed the test when it comes to the question of gaining acceptance, and I think it's only going to gain more acceptance. So we expect to see, not just on the federal side, but even on the state side, greater acceptance of this brand. And to mention also, before I forget, that in the halal foods industry, I think there's a need for caution, especially for the internal market. When it comes to Islamic law, Nigeria, just like most of West Africa, is predominantly Maliki madhab, the Maliki school of Islamic law, which is the most liberal when it comes to food. And so I think there it is important to be more sensitive, to look more carefully at the benefits of the halal when it comes to foods applied locally, because we don't want to end up with clashes with the local scholars and the majority. However, when it comes to external export, etc., definitely in the areas of food, one doesn't expect problems. We also need to look more carefully at interfaith relations, because we have seen in Sri Lanka, in a number of other countries, the halal branding has actually added fuel to inter-religious and inter-ethnic tensions. So the need to monitor this very carefully. The question of animal welfare, the condition of our abattoirs, the very poor humane treatment and respect for animal rights in Islam. In Islam, you're not supposed to slaughter an animal where another animal is looking. You're supposed to be as kind to the animal. And when we see how our animals are transported, I think there's a lot of work to be done when we want to see visible ethics in the area of the food industry. And lastly, the question of the standards, consistent, suitable standards and quality across the halal industry. If not, one small industry can spoil the halal brand for other industries. So the need for gaining more trust, being more transparent, having greater regulations to ensure that the halal brand is not spoiled. As we have seen, even the word Sharia has been spoiled by certain governors for political reasons, unfortunately. But I think with better oversight, better training, better experts, we can build more trust. The word Nigeria, unfortunately, in the international scene is not a very positive brand. So I think we would have to work on that, but also hopefully that the halal standards will help that. I know my time is up, and I would like to just thank you all for this opportunity. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Sheikh Muhammad Nuruddin Lemu, thank you so much. You took us to another level altogether, because talking about branding and trust. If there is a brand, there has to be trust for that brand to keep maintaining acceptance. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that enlightenment. We really appreciate you. All right, we're getting more followership and viewership on YouTube, which is really interesting. All right, let's move on to the next topic now. I will be talking about what intending halal product manufacturers need to know about the industry, the customers, and market before producing. What intending halal product manufacturers need to know about the industry, the customers, and market before producing. These are really strategic topics that we're talking about. So I'd like to invite His Highness Tenku Dato, Dr. Hishamuddin Zaizi, to take us on this next topic right now. Your Highness. Is Your Highness Zaizi around? Okay, maybe let's move on, as we expect him to join us soon. Now let's go to the next topic, which is also very strategic: the role of arbitration in the halal economy. Role of arbitration. All right. Now it will be time for us to give the chance to the Chief Judge Abubakar Imam Kadi, the Sharia Court of Appeal, Maiduguri, Borno State. He will be taking us on the role of arbitration in the halal economy. Chief Judge, is all yours now. All right. If he is not here, we'll move on, and when he comes on, he will join. Okay, let's move to the next one now. Collaboration and integration of halal industry. Collaboration and integration. All right. I'm glad I can see the next speaker on right now, Mr. Muazzam Naik. He's a CEO, Atoba Business Network and Halal Expo India. It's nice to have you join us, right? I can see you bright and you're so bright in there. Thank you so much. The floor is yours now. You have to unmute. You have to unmute your mic. You have to unmute your mic so we can hear you. Muazzam Naik, you need to unmute your mic.
Yes,
Aha,
sure.
great. Go ahead now. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. It is a very difficult time everywhere due to Corona, and the whole India is now gearing up to the whole new situation here. The topic which has been given to me is very close to my heart. In fact, we have been discussing this topic for a long time. That the collaboration in the halal market and halal segment
Hello, Muazzam, are you there? Because it seems you. Aha, good. Go ahead now. Go ahead.
Okay. So in this particular agenda, what I feel that there's a lot of opportunity available to do the collaboration between halal market, especially when the Malaysia took the initiative, then the Turkey started taking initiatives, and then the Middle East started taking initiatives in the collaboration activities in the halal segment. What I personally feel that there are international platforms available right now in terms of halal expos and exhibitions. These are the international platforms which has to be taken up very seriously, and halal industry need to promote these platforms to take this agenda forward. What I personally feel that presently approximately 20 halal expos are being is being organized worldwide. We need to take this expos very seriously so that we can create that kind of buzz, because in when we talk about networking, when we talk about collaboration, uh, people need to understand each other's country's requirements and prerequisites. The approach towards collaboration is that, until unless the parties of they know each other's culture, they know each other's market situation, they will not be able to create that kind of collaboration environment. So one of the important thing is to promote these halal expos and marketing venues. Second thing is that these brands needs to go from one continent to another continent. They are established brands. We need to create that hand-holding opportunities. We need to create that kind of opportunities. Those who are leading brands in the halal segment, they need to come forward. They need to start putting their franchisee network and their distribution network in different parts of the world. And currently, the whole market is ready to accept that kind of networking. So what we need to do is that we need to bring those brands on this network, so that these brands can go from one continent to another continent, and then they can handhold the smaller players and take them forward on the various collaborations. Third thing is that there is a also raw material available, those places where there is a ample of raw material available. We need to create supply chain, this halal supply chain, whereby this collaboration between the raw material producer to the finished products, we need to create that kind of an environment whereby each one works on their own chain, and then it can be expandable. The fourth thing which I would like to point out is that when the collaboration agreements are being made, these agreements are has to be a win-win for both the parties and all the parties. Currently, the environment of collaboration is basically why it is not been pushed to that full strength, full potential. His reason is that this collaboration agency agreements are not yet fine-tuned to the level whereby it has to be of that kind of a nature whereby it suits both the parties. So what I feel, by my experience in this, that the parties from different countries, they need to understand the different countries, their legal obligations and their challenges in their country governing laws, so that that collaboration agreements can be a sustainable agreement and win-win for both the parties. Also, one of the challenging area in the collaboration is to take uh, we have to take along the smaller companies, MSMEs, and the uh, smaller companies, those who are into a very lower scale business companies. See, these companies are in very huge numbers in all parts of the world, especially in the halal industry. What my experience is that there are no major players on the bigger volume. There are smaller players spread across the whole country. There's thousands and lakhs of hundreds of thousands of those companies in every country. Smaller halal food companies, halal cosmetic companies, and so on and so forth. What we need to do is that we have to create an environment whereby these smaller companies, they also get an opportunity to take their brands, their products, their services to different places. And for doing that, there is a bigger role of OIC, there are bigger role of the companies, the organization, especially from Middle East. They have a lot of funds to promote the halal industry, also Turkey and Malaysia and so on and so forth. So what my submission is that in the collaboration, we need to not only take care of the bigger brands in the halal industry, but also the smaller brands, we need to take them. One more area which is a very challenging area, and also people are still not able to find out the solution how to address this, is the halal manufacturers data, halal suppliers data, halal ecosystems, the all players data. This data is people still not able to exchange among themselves. There is no barter system. There is no any system which is basically exchanging of those data. Until unless those data is available to each other, the halal industry cannot grow fast as it has to grow, because much of these companies are not available on any Google platforms or any what you call visible platforms. So these data are available with very few players in the halal ecosystem. The kind of environment we need to create by which we can exchange those data, I think we need to work it out very closely. We have been working with OIC Halal Expo Turkey, and then Halal Expo London, and then various halal the marketing and networking companies. So what my proposal is that for when we talk about collaborations and exchanging and networking, exchanging information and networking, this data is very useful, very important, and we need to take it very seriously. So my suggestion is that uh, the all parties need to sit together and start exchanging the data. That will create a lot of benefits to each other. One more thing in the collaboration is the technology. See, nowadays, the e-commerce, through e-commerce, the businesses have been done. So B2B, B2C, especially B2B portals need to be developed. We do not have any proper.
1 minute more.
Yeah. We need to really work it on the technology platforms, especially on the B2B platforms, so that collaboration, the first stage of the collaboration is addressed. Because until and unless we take care of it through technology, this is the time era of the technology we need to do it. And the last and important part of the collaboration is the financing. See, halal, especially Islamic banking, they need to come forward. They need to have their, because again, the Islamic finance, Islamic banking, there are again very few places where these banks are being fully developed, like in Middle East, like in Malaysia, or some part of the Turkey. So these for any kind of this networking efforts, we need to have a proper financing model of proper financing support. With this, I think I can close my discussion, my topic. Thank you once again for inviting me to this webinar, and we hope this discussion is not just for the discussion. We really take forward this message across the globe and work together in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you really, really very much. We appreciate you. Everything you have said, talking about the issue of supply chains to collaboration and the small and medium scale enterprises is really interesting. Thank you very much. Certainly, when it comes to drafting a master plan, those who are concerned are listening, and they will put everything they need to put together to make it work. Thank you so much, CEO Atoba Business Network, Muazzam Naik. We appreciate you. Now, let's come back to the topic, one of the topics we skipped earlier on, halal banking in Nigeria and its potential. Halal banking in Nigeria and its potential. And the person who will be taking this has so many years of experience, not just in India, but across the world when it comes to understanding how these things work. It's my pleasure to let you know that we now have the Managing Director, CEO, Taj Bank, Nofadezan Abdurrahman. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I didn't get the name correctly. Maybe, but I have to learn. I have to learn that. All right, it's all yours now.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Just a little bit of a sound check. Can you hear me? Very good.
Perfectly.
Very good.
Perfectly. We can hear you.
Yeah, I see you. All right. But it's somebody else's face which is on display at the moment. So nevertheless, I will continue, right? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me and allowing me to speak on behalf of a sector, a very important sector, which is the integral support mechanism of the halal ecosystem. Yeah, a very important system, which is Islamic finance, right? I believe later on, as I see the program, there is also another banker who will talk about opportunities and whatnot on how Islamic banking will support the halal agenda. But allow me to speak not just as a local Nigerian banker, but also in the eyes of how foreigners look at this halal ecosystem and especially Islamic banking in Nigeria. Yeah. So if you can allow me to straddle in between these two positions, right? It is halal banking. If you ask me to define, it is also a subsector of the Islamic finance industry. Okay, the biggest, if I may say so, Islamic banking, because all the elements of or institutions under Islamic finance do rely and lean on banking as its backbone. Yeah, and not just these institutions which are supporting Islamic the halal sector. The halal sector basically, if anyone wants to offer something which is end-to-end Sharia compliant, yeah, end-to-end halal and tayyiba, it is necessarily that they have to manage their finances, yeah, in a halal manner, in a Sharia compliant manner. Then they can boast that their entire ecosystem, their entire value chain or supply chain, yeah, to be end-to-end halal. Yeah, so that is a very important fact, right? We are lucky in Nigeria that there are already two Islamic banks, one being Jais, the elder brother, and me, the younger brother, which is Touch Bank, yeah, and along with other Islamic financial institutions like the various takaful companies, the various fund management companies, and whatnot. Okay, these represents the building block or the support mechanism for the halal industry. Yeah. Now, the opportunities for Islamic banking in supporting the halal industry in Nigeria is great. Number one is with regards to how we support the halal industry in Nigeria. I believe Nigeria is, especially its government, is now looking into diversifying back the economy, yeah, especially looking at agriculture and many more, especially food processing. Yeah, so this represents a big opportunity, yeah, for Islamic banking to support, okay, the government agenda, right? There are various handouts, intervention funds which are available, yeah, that under the Islamic space, yeah, that has been declared by the government but not fully taken up. Yeah, there's a lot more available there. So I do invite many Nigerian companies and players to come on board to take up this not just challenge but this aid from the government through the Islamic banks. Okay, so that's one way of us supporting the halal industry, which is I believe many are key to the direction where the government is pointing. Now, the halal, or rather Islamic banking itself in Nigeria, has a lot of potential. Yeah, has a lot of potential. Coming from a foreigner's eye, I'm a Malaysian, though I'm a local banker here in Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria represents an ample market opportunity area, you know, for anyone who wants to plow and nurture their business. Simply because Islamic banking is rather new here, we barely scratch the surface. The depth is a lot more for us to venture, and knowing and understanding that a huge population of Muslims in Nigeria are there for our you know, to be our customers. So that is the bedrock of the customer side of the business. Not to mention when it goes to commerce and trade and many more, it is not only the Muslims who will benefit from the Islamic Bank. For example, when I was in Indonesia, I do have non-Muslim companies who prefer to take some kind of Islamic financing, especially the murabaha, simply because, as they say, it has an automatic cap. I would not want to go into detail where that is concerned, but that goes to show that there are certain quota or certain products which are unique under Islamic banking that may be of an advantage to players beyond Muslims. Yeah, so it's pure commercial interest. Now, coming back to Nigerian landscape, Nigeria represents, as I mentioned earlier, an ample market for Islamic bankers. A lot more areas are untapped. A lot more areas need us to go in and open up our channels, be it physical branches or even agency banking or even electronic banking right now. So these are to tap or to ensure financial inclusion among especially the remote areas, the Muslims who shy away from the conventional banking, yeah, for fear of mingling with riba, yeah. So these are the main customers who are very, very sensitive to halal, yeah. So that itself is a great opportunity in Nigeria, yeah. Huge Muslim population.
1 minute more. One minute more. Yeah.
I will sum up. And last but not least is what could drive this opportunity a lot further could be better infrastructure, better understanding from especially the government side, especially the central bank in terms of supporting this industry, as well as a nice Sharia governance regime, yeah, to allow us to speed up our growth further, yeah. So that having that could make our growth, our presence, and our support to the halal ecosystem a lot better. So I will just end up there before I open another topic, and I could not finish with the limited time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really an interesting one. Thank you very much for your presentation. That's the Managing Director, CEO of Taj Bank in Nigeria. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move on now to another topic. And this time around, we'll also be talking around issues of financing. Now, halal financing, the potentials and challenges in the Nigerian market. Halal financing, the potentials and challenges in the Nigerian market. That's the next topic now, and coming up next. Now, the CEO of Sun Trust Bank, Ajia Halima Buba, is supposed to present it, but she's represented by the COO of the bank, Babayo Seidu Babayo. Babayo, the ground is yours now. The floor is yours. Okay. While we wait for Babayo to come on stream, let's move to the next one now. Halal certification and standardization, the food additive and halal pharmacy as a case study. That's what we'll talk about next, and that'll be taken by Professor Uriagba, the chairman, Halal Certification Authority. Professor, it's all yours now.
Thank you very much, moderator, for inviting me to this very interesting seminar. I would like to share my slide. I hope I'm permitted to share my slide.
Go ahead, go ahead. You can.
Thank you very much. I would like to first of all say that halal is a global term, and it is something that originated from the divine book, that is the Holy Quran. However, it applies to both Muslims and non-Muslims. And halal is the main, how would I put it? Or rather, I would like to say that the foundation of any certification process is found in the Holy Quran, where Almighty Allah says that, "O men, addressing mankind, eat the lawful and good things out of what is in the earth, and do not follow the footsteps of Shaitan, the devil. Surely he is your open enemy." Now, this is the foundation of halal activities globally. And halal actually combines what is permissible and also what is good. So we're looking at two things. It is permissible based on the divine guidance, and also it is good in terms of quality. And therefore, before you can certify or pronounce a product to be halal, it must have gone through very rigorous processes. It must have certification, international certification, that is the orthodox certification. Then you can then go further and do the halal certification. So as a form of background, I hope we can see the slide. Yeah, thank you. Halal certification and related activities in Nigeria started a few years ago, and over 100 million Muslim population abound in Nigeria, and the demand is growing for Sharia compliant goods. In 2008, the Standards Organization of Nigeria held a technical committee meeting of stakeholders to draw up a national halal standard. And this is still ongoing to ensure that there is standardization in the halal processes. Some Nigerian halal certification bodies were invited to make their contributions, to the draft halal standard. Now, I would like to look at the halal certification and standardization process in Nigeria. What does it entail? It looks, at the international standards, like the OIC SMIC standard, the Malaysian MS 1500 2009 standard, and these standards are compatible with international standards like ISO, HASP, and what have you. So the process is quite rigorous, like I said, but again, it has to be done in a systematic manner. So the first step is to apply. Whatever company that is interested in certification of their products is usually a voluntary process. And if they are interested, they will request for the halal certification from the certifying authorities. So they put in an application, and after that, there's a document review and evaluation. And once that is clear, that they have the necessary documents, including the National Regulatory Authority document, like for example, in Nigeria, we have the NAFDAC, which is the National Regulatory Authority. They must have that. They must have the Standards Organization of Nigeria and others like that. Once that is done, then there's an approval for on-site facility audit. And after that, samples will be collected, and then there can be a decision on the certification. Now, at the on-site audit, we can have an opening meeting, you have plant inspection and document review, and then samples are collected and then there will be a feedback at the on-site. So the samples eventually will be analyzed, and all the kinds of, all the necessary the parameters will be checked to be sure that the samples meet the required standards. Then after audit, the results of analysis will be combined with the audit report, which will now be sent back to the company. And then this audit report will be reviewed by the Council of Scholars. And if they approve, then you now have what you call the Halal certificate. The Halal certificate usually goes with a Halal label, which can then be pasted on the products. Now, the flow chart that we can see is the process that I've just explained in a very systematic manner. And sometimes when there are concerns, concerning the product or the facility, then this is transmitted to the company, and they have to address those concerns and carry out the necessary corrections. So we call them corrective action requests. And eventually, when that is met, then they can be granted the Halal certificate. This is an example of a Halal certified label that can be issued. Now, I would like to just mention briefly the future of Halal certification in Nigeria. A lot of awareness is already going on, and it will continue to go on. There's an expo coming up organized by the current organizers, ACCI. They are planning an expo that is part of awareness creation. Training and conferences will continue. Halal Roundtable will also continue, which will involve all stakeholders. And the hope is that there should be a national Halal board and also a national Halal standard, which is currently being done by the bodies. Now, in my last minute that I have, I'll just talk briefly about Halal Certification Authority. We develop and establish halal products, and also we also carry out audits of halal products sites. And also we build human capacity to ensure that and what it stands for. Basically, our activities involve certification, education, and training, and of course, consultancy and promotion of halal. And then a few activities that is going on is collaboration with standard bodies like the National Regulatory Authority in Nigeria, NAFDAC, the Standards Organization of Nigeria, and also FIRO, that is the Federal Industrial Institute for Research in Oshodi, Lagos. Then a few companies that we have certified in Nigeria, we certified Flour Mills of Nigeria PLC, GB Foods, and a few others, Nasco Foods, Domino Pizza Kitchen, Honeywell Flour Mills, inspection at Northern Nigeria Flour Mills, facility audit of Rome Oil Limited in Ibadan, Nigeria, Golden Pasta and Noodles, and there's also a facility audit at Green Springs Foods, Nasarawa State, Northern Nigeria, and also Royal Salt, also in Southern Nigeria. And then Malaysia, we have partners in Malaysia where we go for training to train our auditors to ensure that they are compliant. And also, there's also another body, the Global Halal Center, also in Malaysia, where we also collaborate. Sometimes we need to send our samples abroad for analysis, further analysis. Then again, we are planning a conference in September, National Halal Conference, in collaboration with other Halal Nigerian bodies. We intend to hold master classes, seminars, exhibitions, from our clients that have been certified, and of course have an award night to encourage clients. So with this, I want to thank you once again for inviting me. And Halal has come to stay, and we want as much as possible collaborations and education in Halal. Thank you so much for listening.
Wow, thank you so much, Professor Ibrahim Oriagba. I like the last line you put there. Halal has come to stay. So we have to do everything to ensure that it takes its foot in Nigeria with all the presentations that were made, collaboration and chain supply and drawing a master plan as it is done or as it was done in Malaysia. Thank you so much, Professor, for your time in there. Okay, let's move on now to the next topic, which will be talking about promoting halal hospitality and tourism in Nigeria. And I'd like to give the time to Professor Jidda Hassan, Head of Arabic and Linguistic Department, University of Maiduguri. That happened to be my alma mater, so it's really nice. Okay, so Professor Jidda Hassan is all yours right now. The floor is yours. I saw him earlier on. I hope he's on there. Professor Jidda Hassan. Yeah, I can see him online. Aha, good. Professor Hassan, you can go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, Mike. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Loud
Yeah,
and
okay.
clear. You can go ahead. We can hear you.
Good. Thank you very much. I really wanted to thank the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry for inviting me to give a talk on halal, promoting halal hospitality and tourism in Nigeria. Actually, many of our guest speakers have spoke on this issue with great expansion, and they have also discussed issues of halal. But the interesting thing about tourism and hospitality is that actually tourism is something that has been carried out by people for purposes of relaxation, recreation, and simply pleasure. Today, many countries around the world have their annual GDP coming from tourism. Now, if you are in the process of touring a place, you are also looking for hospitality. And that hospitality has to be provided. And a services also have to be provided to you so that you can see the comfort of being someone on tourism. Now, hospitality is a practice all over cultures, and all over religions of Islam, Christianity, Judaism, all have their own ways of making hospitality an issue when they receive guests. Now, tourism and hospitality now, going by the halal concept, is asking us to provide services that are conventionally being provided by tourism to be provided according to Sharia standard. That is, a service that must be Sharia compliant. That means eating or drinking from halal defined sources is faith-based. That is, you are expected to practice those things according to your Sharia law. And it is required because the religion, that is the main sources of Islamic religion, encourage using halal. So you have that one in Sharia. It's been discussed by some scholars with some verses of the Holy Quran. Also, the Hadith have discussed that, and many schools of thought did discuss this issue. And I'll leave these issues of the Quran and the rest for our colleagues to go through. I want to go now to Nigeria because what is required in this discussion is to discuss how can we promote tourism or halal tourism in Nigeria. Nigeria is said to be the giant of Africa, and actually the giant of Africa. It's housing well over 200 million citizens. It is said to be one of the 7th most populous nation in the world. It has well over 520 languages spoken and has a considerable percentage of its population as Muslims. This makes Nigeria a potential place where halal can be promoted, or it's easy to promote halal in Nigeria. Simply because if you look at the Nigeria's complex, over the last 100 years, this is the place where we have peaceful coexistence between Muslims and religion, Muslims and Christians in Nigeria. Interestingly, if you look at our festivals, all Nigerians during festivals, be they are Muslims or Christians, are eager to share their foods or drinks with their fellow. The Christian brothers insist on sharing only halal foods or drinks with their Muslim brothers. And where strict, they invite a fellow Muslim to slaughter an animal in accordance with Sharia law. This is a clear example of Nigerian hospitality and their strictness to abide by the requirement of their guests in reception. This is just one of several many examples that you can find in Nigeria. This is again very interesting in Nigeria because if you look at Nigeria today, most Nigerians are interested in providing these services. And this type of tourism is required in Nigeria simply because there is a report in 2014 indicating that almost 142 billion is expended by Muslims on travels. This was also further said in 2016, where over 152 billion is also being expended on travels by Muslims. This was projected to be something like 202 by 2020. Though the story is different today with COVID pandemic, but it speaks of a potentially global market, an interesting market. So, but Nigeria is a very good place where you can have this kind of things done. Most of the discussions on conventional tourism, people discuss about marketing, business marketing, resource development, and investment in raw material resource. All these is very important and is very well taken care of by many organizations or institutions in Nigeria. But what I want to discuss today, since we say earlier on that issue of halal is faith-based, why can't we have a way of discussing issues related to the cultural relationship between Nigerian community and Islam? So other Muslims who are interested in halal could also develop interest into this beauty of the mixed-up culture between cultural Nigerians, Nigerian community, and the Muslim community, so that they can see a hybrid form of the culture in Nigeria. Coupled with this is the fact that, again, linguistically, there are so many languages in Nigeria that share a relationship with so many Asian languages. Why can't we have that? There are a lot of beautiful things apart from this for people to tour around Nigeria and see things. So sometimes people are not coming just for market purposes, but they can come for that purpose. For some of these things they can come for, but at the same time, we can have a leeway where we can get money out of this kind of...
1 minute. 1 minute more.
Okay. So with this, let me just go to the final conclusion. I think for halal tourism to be promoted in Nigeria, there are two things I want to emphasize on. First of all, there is need for a good reception to the guests. That is, those who are interested or investing into the industry should always look for their guests wherever they are and see that they are being given a treatment that is up to the normal treatment of security. Secondly, the beautiful face of Nigeria should be projected properly to the outside world. And I think this is also a very important issue that those who are developing market industry in tourism should do so. The third one is, anyway, this is something outside the halal issue, but I want to see a situation whereby the local tourism is being encouraged in this country so that we see each other. We want to see each other. We want to know one another. But why can't we organize a kind of a local industry so that we can go around the country? They can also make money out of it, I believe. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Jidda Hassan Jama'a, for that wonderful presentation. And I'm really proud you're presenting from University of Maiduguri, my alma mater. Thank you so much for all of that. It's really interesting. So much to learn from what you have presented. We appreciate you. Let's move on now, and we'll move a little faster this time around so we can cover some grounds. We're gradually coming to that point now where we have to wound up. A lot of people are still watching on YouTube, and we really appreciate them. Now, the next we'll be talking about halal fashion and cosmetics in Nigeria, analyzing the market and the opportunities. That will be taken by Ajia Moji Hasfat Bello, Managing Director of Halal Standard Development Trust. Ajia Bello, it's all yours now. Professor Hassan, can you put your mic on mute? Can you mute your mic so that, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Ajia, okay.
Yes.
Ajia, the floor is yours now. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon or good evening to everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you very much.
And if we can see you too, it would be great.
Okay, I've been trying to, okay, you can see me now?
Very well.
Okay, thank you. Trying to share my screen. One second, please. Are you with me?
Everyone is with you, waiting for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Once more, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me please stand on the existing protocol. But even doing that, let me congratulate the Abuja Chambers of Commerce, especially the leadership for this wonderful initiative. Having said that, let me quickly go to the topic. The topic is halal fashion and cosmetics in Nigeria. I will start by looking at the major terms, a few of which have been exposed to us by the previous speakers. The meaning of halal, we've been told, an Arabic word that means permissible or lawful as specified in the Quran. And it is complemented by another word, tayyib, which means pure, good, and beneficial or wholesome. So the concept of halal and tayyiban, halal and tayyiban implies everything that is permitted, lawful, pure, good, and beneficial. You would think that may not be necessary for halal fashion, halal clothing, cosmetics, and beauty care products, but it is because indeed applying halal to everything that a Muslim consumes or uses is a necessity as dictated by the Sharia. It's all about ethics, about principle. Halal clothing or fashion, for example, is applicable to both men and women. It's the principle of modesty for both male and female. Islamic fashion, for example, especially for the woman, must be loose-fitting garments that cover the whole body of the woman and must not be transparent. Halal is typically used to describe clothing that conceals rather than accentuates the shape of the body. The clothing can include hijabs, burqas, as well as tops, trousers, jackets, and dresses that feature a modest cost. They do not reveal body shape, are not transparent to reveal the skin, and should not have any written words or images that show lewdness or indecency. Applying the Halalan Toyiban to fashion, clothing may be modest, but if it is manufactured using unpermitted means like child labor, child slavery, illegal means of finance, then it is not halal. Let's look at global halal fashion industry. In the modern age of fashion, Muslim women have, in addition to using the traditional burqas, have adapted the modern fashion, especially the young generation of Muslims, while not compromising on the Islamic modesty. So there is a rise in the interest of modest fashion by all, specifically the case of religious women, through the need for more fashionable clothing options. A growing number of Muslim designers and social media personalities decided to fill the gap that they spotted in the market, using their platform to gain influence on fashion. Today, there are lots of choices from independent designers, such as those that I've named, Sophia, Azana, Zubedi. These are international designers that have seized the opportunity of the gap in Islamic fashion and are doing very well in that area. Over the years, even the mainstream fashion industry has realized the need to be inclusive, and therefore have included modest fashion or Islamic fashion in their brands. When we talk of the halal global economy, we've been so informed on how huge the market is. The current trend of the global Islamic economy report of 2018 to 19 by Reuters says that the halal economy is worth about $2.1 trillion. And of that, the halal fashion is about 270 billion, halal cosmetics, 61 billion. Halal fashion, on the other hand, when you talk of halal fashion in Nigeria, I'm going to halal fashion in Nigeria now. Generally, let me start with fashion in Nigeria. There are lots of Nigerian fashion designers that are known internationally. They have done very well for the country, making the country visible in that arena. However, in spite of that, many of them have not looked into the halal fashion market in Nigeria for them to be able to create a brand for halal fashion. But even then, there are There are one or two upcoming Islamic fashion designers in Nigeria. But mostly, most Islamic wares in Nigeria are made by a number of local fashion designers who have not.
1 minute more. 1 minute more.
Okay. So the essential thing is that the Islamic fashion in Nigeria is a huge business that has not been tapped. Halal cosmetics, ditto for halal cosmetics. A large number of the halal cosmetics that we use in Nigeria are imported. I'm not aware of any company in Nigeria that is manufacturing halal cosmetic products. But there are some beauty products companies in Nigeria that produce halal cosmetics internationally. I think they should be encouraged to look inwards and bring their brand to manufacture halal cosmetics in Nigeria. Before I conclude, let me say a little bit about, okay, let me conclude, then I'll say a little bit about hazard. The halal industry in Nigeria, like it is elsewhere, is very profitable for investors. As we must appreciate that halal is a necessity for Muslims and a way of life. This way of life for over 1.7 billion people around the globe and over 100 million Nigerians with a potential of $4.2 billion US market is an enormous business opportunity for Nigeria and Nigerians as a whole, not only Muslims to tap into. Halal business, halal economy is for all, not only for Muslims in Nigeria. About HASTAT, that's our organization. Halal Standard Development Trust is an agency of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs with a mission to provide independent, assured and efficient halal audit, inspection and certification for companies seeking to gain halal compliance for their suite of products and services. HASDA's mission is to guarantee the halal status of consumed products both to Muslims and to all non-Muslims consuming halal products, as well as offering. Okay, thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay, I was giving you 10 seconds, but it's okay. Thank you so much, Hajia Moji Hasfat Bello, the Managing Director of Halal Standard Development Trust. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you bringing us up to speed with that fashion, cosmetics, and what is halal and how we can make the best out of it. We really appreciate you. All right, let's move on to the next discussion now so we can cover some grounds. The next discussion, I'll be talking about preparing the workforce for the halal manufacturing industry. And it's supposed to be taken by Muhammad Zubair Mughal. He is the CEO of Halal Research Council. It's all yours now. Are you there? CEO of Halal Research Council. Okay, let's move on before let's move to the next one now. Understanding investment drive for the halal industry. That's the Philippine experience. And it's my pleasure to give the floor to Alim Sidiku Guaipal. Alim Sidiku Guaipal is the OIC Group Manager, Promotions and Public Relations Group. He's also the Director General of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority.
Yeah.
All right.
Mike joining us as the Director General of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority. May we introduce the Director General, Deputy Minister of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, Brigadier General Charito Ching Plaza. Ma'am?
Hi, good morning in the Philippines and whatever is the time all over the world. Magandang gabi, which is good evening in Filipino language. So thank you, our anchor, the senior anchor of TV News, Mike Okoche, for this opportunity. And of course, my greetings to the Aboha Chamber of Commerce and Industry President, Prince Adito Conbo Kayude-san. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority is the biggest economic zone authority of the country. And we contribute the highest export income, like 85% of the export service income from the IT and BPO companies, and 65% of the goods and commodities income, export income. These are registered companies of PESA. So my agency is inviting export-oriented industries to locate in our different types of economic zones in the country. And one of these big economic zones that we are now promoting is the Halal hubs and production zones. So right now we have 408 economic zones of different types, and because of that goal to industrialize the country, but it must be an environment-friendly industrialization. So we are inviting export-oriented companies who are into manufacturing, processing, refinery, assembly, tourism, agro-industrial companies. We also have medical tourism and IT BPOs. So what are the advantages of the Philippines that we are very proud to invite investors all over the world? First is our strategic location. The Philippines is at the center of Asia and Pacific, and we are the nearest to the whole world. We only have two types of weather, the rainy and the sunny, and a very fertile soil, which means we can plant the whole year round, and we can produce different types of crops because of the very fertile soil. The Philippines is one of the countries that is blessed with human resources, very rich human resources and natural resources. Our human resources, the Filipino workforce, is one of the most sought after workforces of the world, because we produce 1 million Filipinos every year who reach the working age of 18. And all can speak English. So that is one advantage if you are going to invest in my country, because you need not translate handbooks and manuals. It's easy to train the Filipinos, especially the character traits of the Filipinos, who are known to be very friendly, very hospitable, and very responsible and helpful. So our agency registers lands, private lands, public lands to become economic zones. We also register buildings, private and public buildings, to become IT centers. And we also register export-oriented companies or foreign investors. 100% you can invest, 100% foreign-owned. And likewise, of course, the Filipino investors who are into export activities. So the Philippines is now focusing on its halal hubs and production zones type of an economic zone. We have a great partnership with the BIMP-IAGA. It's an acronym of East Asian Growth Area composing of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines. So this is the BIMP IAGA, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, and all the other countries in the East Asia. So we now have a partnership, and these countries are mostly Muslim populated. So we are now reviving this partnership of the countries of Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, and other countries in East Asia, and of course Nigeria, and all other countries of the world are invited to invest in this country of beautiful people and very rich natural resources. So we just passed the Islamic bank law. So we are now inviting Islamic banks to come to the Philippines and provide the credit facilities to our Muslim and non-Muslim investors who will be into halal hubs and production zones of the Philippines. So we are very positive that despite this COVID pandemic, our attitude in PESA, for example, we were able to do a balancing act by promoting and protecting the health of the Filipino workers, and very strict compliance of disinfection, the use of PPEs, the use of the social distancing. So we are very proud to inform the whole world that our 408 economic zones in PESA are COVID-free. So we see to it that if you invest in our economic zones, you are assured of safety, security, and the protection of your health. So we have a list of very good incentives, not just to Muslim investors, but to all types of investors in the world. Like we provide 6 to 8 years income tax holiday.
Few seconds more.
Yes, income tax holiday for all these investors. So again, we welcome Nigeria and all our friends in the world to invest in the Philippine economic zones, and you are assured that you will be protected and guaranteed of your rights to remit profits, your right to repatriation, and we assure you that investing in the Philippines is a great endeavor that will not only enhance your as a source of the products that you want in your country, in your respective country. We will be able to contribute also in the prosperity and peace to the whole world. So thank you for this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation from the Philippines, DG Dr. Charito Plaza. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. We're trying to be fast now so we can move on. The next discussion now will be on growing the SMEs in the halal industry through halal banking and finance. And we have Professor Binta Tijani Jibril, Director, International Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance, to take us on this brief topic in few minutes. Okay, Professor, it's all yours now. Professor Jibril, you have to unmute your mic so we can hear you.
First of all, I wish to thank the ACCI for inviting me to this event. I appreciate all the organizers. This is really a very timely event. Secondly, my presentation is on growing the SMEs using halal banking and finance. I begin by first of all stating that the halal industry and halal banking and finance, or what we simply call Islamic banking and finance, or non-interest banking and finance in the Nigerian parlance, are actually children of the same parent. They belong to the ecosystem that is called the halal economy. And they are subject to the same regulations, governed by the same principles of the Sharia, which instills ethical and sustainable standards to each of the two sister sectors. The halal economy, or the ecosystem as I call it, consists of food and beverages, travel and tourism, lifestyle, and banking and finance. Now, what we notice is that regarding the importance of synergy between halal industry and Islamic banking and finance is that even the financial index providers, such as the Dow Jones, the FTSE, and so on, actually tend to screen out companies as being Sharia non-compliant if they use conventional financing. Therefore, you can see that there is the urgent need for halal firms to utilize halal finance. And utilizing halal finance is very important for two things. One, it instills brand integrity. It gives confidence to the consumer, the Muslim consumer, that the commodity in question has integrity. Secondly, it also instills confidence in halal investors who are looking for halal outlets to invest their funds. In addition to that, there is a lot of benefit to be gained from creating synergy between these two industries. On one hand, Islamic finance can offer a variety of products that will, meet the needs of halal industries. On the other hand, halal firms can leverage on Islamic financial institutions, such as banks, insurance, and others, to channel surplus funds for investments throughout the value chain of the halal economy. So actually, getting synergy between these two sisters is beneficial, mutually beneficial, and that is what will boost, sustain, and develop the halal economy, and by extension, bring sustainable development to Nigeria if we are able to key into it. Now, talking about SMEs and halal farms in Nigeria in general, there are several ways, several products and services through which the Islamic banking can support them. But given the limited time, I would like to simply focus on the small and medium scale enterprises, which according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, contribute about 48% of the national GDP in the last 5 years. Now, with a total of about 17.4 million, they account for about 50% of the industrial jobs and nearly 90% of the manufacturing sector in Nigeria. So it is really a very big sector. The global halal market, from the discussions by colleagues, is worth more than $2.3 trillion. And therefore, it gives an opportunity for Nigerian SMEs to serve the global market and make Nigeria a leading halal hub in Africa. This potential exists if they are able to tap into Islamic finance. However, there's a caveat, because many of the small and medium scale enterprises in the halal industry are completely excluded from formal banking sector. They suffer from lack of access to Sharia compliant products because they are not readily available in the market. What is readily available is not suitable for SMEs and startups because commercial banks, even the Islamic ones, do consider them as high risk sectors, and therefore they are unwilling to provide the needed financing to them. So this lack of appropriate financing often hampers the capacity of SMEs to invest. It also reduces their liquidity and limits their contribution to employment generation. So to address this particular issue, we recommend various financing, Sharia compliant, that is financing options, which are suitable for SMEs and startups. Because of the limitation of time, I wish to discuss about 4 of them. The first one is Islamic microfinance.
Professor, you have a minute, just a minute now, Professor.
Okay. I wish to recommend Islamic microfinance, Sharia compliant crowdfunding, Sharia compliant venture capital financing, and private equity funding as the ways to go if SMEs and startups in Nigeria are to benefit from Islamic financing. And if we are to be able to create the needed synergy that will ensure the growth of halal economy in the country. I thank you very much for inviting me, and I wish, I look for another opportunity to expand on this point because we have virtually just scratched the surface of the issue. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much, Professor. We really understand because from your presentation, it's really obvious that there's so much we can get from this. But however, like you said, or as you said, there's more time and we have more opportunity as we get along. Thank you so much, Professor Binta Tijani Jibril, for your time on the program. All right, let's get to the last discussion now. We have talking about the halal accreditation, what investors need to know. That will be taken by Taylan Koba, the head of international relations, halal certification agency, reaching us from Turkey. All right, thank you very much, Taylan, for your time. It's all yours now. You can go ahead. We can't hear you yet, Taylan. Is your mic unmuted? Is your mic unmuted?
Can you hear me now?
Great, it's amazing. We can hear you now. We can hear you now.
We passed this little bit technical problem. So, assalamu alaikum to all participants. Mr. Rakochi, thanks for giving me the floor. It was a wonderful and fruitful and enlightening conversation so far. As the last speaker, I would like to thank all the participants and organizers and the ACCI for such a lovely event. So today, as we all know, halal industry is growing and a huge potential. Actually, its growth potential surpasses many conventional sectors. And this industry is not only one subsector like food, it encompasses a lot of sectors such as logistics to textiles, tourism to pharmaceuticals. But what drives this economy is the Muslims all around the world. And Nigeria is one of the countries that fuels this growth with its huge potential and the rising economy. But today, I would like to draw all your attention a little bit more to the certification process of the goods and services. When we look to this brand, as Mr. Lemos said, this is our strategic asset. There are too many halal brands on the goods, and to some extent it may create a bit fragmented structure. And I'm not against the diversity. Diversity is good. It's our richness. Yet, I think there's a thin line. We have to be make sure that such a fragmented, such a diversity should not create a cacophony that cause diminishing the confidence of the consumers to our goods and services. And so, as our former participants say, how can we protect this brand? I think accreditation comes in that sense, in that moment. But before going on the importance of the accreditation, I would like to give some brief information about our domestic market, what we are doing in Turkey, what is the situation in Turkey. As all you know, Turkey is a predominantly Muslim country with more than 80 million population. The halal certification is not mandatory in Turkey, yet there are some regulations about that. We have more than 50 halal certification bodies in Turkey, and we sure can say there is an increasing awareness about this topic, and it affects the choices of the consumers. When they go in the market, carrying a halal brand on a good can certainly affect their decision of buying or not buying it. So once we're talking about the increasing awareness, and I'm sure that this increasing awareness is not per se in Turkey, but it's a global phenomenon, especially in for the Muslims who lives in non-Muslim countries, non-Muslim majority countries. How are we going to handle with this increasing awareness? This should be the question we have to find an answer. And I think the answer is we should handle it with a care. The halal industry's intrinsic value is, as many of our guests has already underlined it, it's an ecosystem. So it creates, it fuels each other. It's not only one-time shot. For example, if you have to, if you're producing a halal good, let's say food, your ingredient should be halal too. And in this respect, the halal industry is, even though it seems B2C sector at the first sight, I think it's very B2B. It has very much B2B specifications. Therefore, we need to make sure that this economy should be sustainable and efficient. This efficiency can be achieved by playing this game with the rules on the book. What are those rules? Those rules are
1 minute more.
Okay. Those rules are the standards, and those standards should be crowned by the accreditation. It delivers public confidence. It minimizes the product failure. The accreditation prevents misuse of the brand. Therefore, we in the HAK in Turkey, I think we are the one and only accreditation agency which focuses only the halal. We do not only give the accreditation, we also do the trainings, we are doing researches, and we are very happy to cooperate all the stakeholders around the world. And we always say that we believe that OIC CIMIC standards are giving a proper forum for all of us to voice our opinions and decide all together on the very basics. And as my last verse, I'm happy to say that I think our thoughts echo throughout the world, and we received many applications from abroad, from India to Serbia, Australia to Switzerland. We would be happy to work with our Nigerian friends, and we can move this business forward for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taylor Koban. You can be so sure that Nigerian businessmen will take advantage of that. Thank you so much.
We are looking forward to.
Great collaborations and greater days ahead. Thank you very much. Okay, we're winding out now, and we're rounding off now. But certainly, this is where we give the floor to the Director General of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in the person of Ms. Victoria Akai. She will be talking to us briefly, just very briefly, on ACCI and halal industry promotion, and as well she will be giving her closing remarks after that. DG is all yours now.
Thank you, Mike. Assalamu alaikum. The National President of NASIMA, President and ESCO of ACCI, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. As a chamber, we are strategically positioned to create an awareness, harmonize the industry, and create a structured halal market through enhancements of this nature. Halal industry is to us in Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry a major opportunity at a time that the world is struggling with recession and depression. This industry holds a critical key to accelerating recovery. Halal industry is a potent business opportunity that transcends religious considerations. It is a prospering business landscape open to all humanity. I personally love halal fashion. We believe it is time to have a series of policies and programs to overcome the challenges of halal phobia and embrace the halal industry for economic development. We have taken many forward steps at ensuring that the world visits Nigeria through the Halal Expo Nigeria, which we had initially scheduled to hold in June and October 2020, but for the COVID-19 pandemic. Over 100 businesses from 15 countries had expressed the willingness to participate in the 2020 edition of the Halal Expo Nigeria. So there is a rising interest in halal business. Further steps taken so far is the setting up of the arbitration center, which will focus on ensuring that the wheel of business runs very smoothly as soon as the industry is up and running. We have taken steps to commence relationships with the Halal Arbitration Center and also to train our key personnel in this area. Our best center is the Center for Learning, which is structured for impacting knowledge. This center will train the manpower needed to accelerate learning about the halal industry. We will commence meetings with the Halal Research Council with the intention to sign an MOU with them on this note. ACCI has 3 set principles in the promotion of halal industry, which we call the VAS principles. They are visibility, aggressiveness, and sustainability. This has shaped and helped our actions, especially with the area of partnerships that we've been able to garner from stakeholders in 10 countries. For the Halal Expo Nigeria, being driven by our partners Afrexpo and our trade center, the ACCI Abuja Trade Center, we have been able to sign over 28 MOUs on halal as regards to the promotion of the industry. We thank you all for being a part of this great gathering of distinguished minds, and we hope this takes us all to the next level. May I use this opportunity to welcome you all ahead of the Halal Expo Nigeria 2021, which inshallah is scheduled to hold from the 14th to the 16th of September 2021. Please save this date and we look forward to your participation. And in closing, thank you, Mike, for delivering a good job as usual, moderating this important event. Let me, on the behalf of the President of Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Prince Adetokunbo Kayode, the ESCO and members of ACCI, thank the President of NASIMA and FEWASI, Hajia Saratu Iya Aliu. She sat from the beginning to the end of this event. Thank you so much, Ma. I would like to thank the second deputy president of Nasima, Otumba Deleoye. He was quite helpful in organizing this event. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank Professor Adesoji Adeshuba, the Managing Director of NEBSA. Thank you for delivering that beautiful paper on NEBSA. His Excellency, Mr. Ahmed Meli Uluren, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of Turkey. Thank you so much for attending. His Eminence, Sheikh Sharif Ibrahim Saleh, CON, Grand Mufti of Nigeria and the Chairman of FRAS CBN. His Excellency, the High Commissioner of India, who was here represented by his Deputy Commissioner. Thank you so much for heeding to our call. Mr. Mohid Khairi Maidin, the Trade Commissioner of the High Commission of Malaysia. Thank you so much. Professor Rafek Saleh of Malaysian Halal Consultancy and Training Agency. Sheikh Mohammed Nuruddin Leimu, an erudite scholar of international repute, member of the Board of Trustees of HASDAT, and the Director of Research and Training of Dawa Institute of Nigeria. We are honored to have had you on this webinar. Also, Mr. Muazzam Naik, CEO Atoba Business Network and Halal Expo India. Professor Oriagba, Chairman Halal Certification Authority. Nofadalizan Abdurrahman, MD of Taj Bank. Professor Jidda Hassan, Head of Arabic and Linguistics Department, University of Maiduguri. Thank you so much, sir, for that beautiful presentation. Hajia Moji Hafsat Bello, MD of Halal Standard Development Trust, HASDAT, the Director General of Philippine Economic Zone Authority. Ali Sadiki, M, excuse me, OIC Group Manager, Promotions and Public Relations Group. Sorry. Professor Binta Tijani Jibril, Director, International Institute of Islamic Banking and Finance. Taylan Coban, Head of International Relations Department. And my Director General of NASIMA. Thank you so much for making out time to attend. We are honored that you answered our call to speak at this important event. And we thank you that you came. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, thank you so much for a wonderful closing remarks there. We really appreciate everyone. We don't have to go over and over that again. Just remember that there is an e-certificate available for this seminar. If you want one, you can. The link will be sent to your email so you can have access to it. There are several benefits that you can get from having the email. Certainly, it guarantees that you have learned about the halal industry, and then you can interact and make business with other halal stakeholders from halal nations. It gives your organization an edge in a growing industry worth about $3 trillion. Your certified knowledge about the halal industry will distinguish your organization in a market of over 2 billion population, and that's a huge market. I'm telling you, there are so many other benefits there. So this will be sent to your mail. So if you want, there's a form you're going to fill, and so you can have access to it, and it'll be sent to you. Thank you so much, everyone. And we look forward to the Expo in 2021. It's just going to be about a year from now. I can't wait to be in that one. And I've learned a lot. And from here, I'm going to educate people about the halal industry and the halal business as well. And we see how we can also invest in it. God bless you all from every part of the world, wherever you are joining us from. We look forward to greater days ahead. And remember to always stay safe. COVID-19 is not over yet. Bye now. Bye, everybody.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Really very
Thank
you very much to you all.
Thank you very much all, and assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Professor Rafiq.
Yeah, walaikum assalam, Hajjah. Yeah, nice to meet you. Fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Professor Binta, assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum all.
Thank you.